Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted to be joined by Danny, and we are in final prediction mode for the massive world title fight this weekend in Albuquerque, in New Mexico, as Luis Alberto Lopez defends his IBF World Featherweight title against Angelo Leo. Before we get into it, Danny, just anyone watching this video, if you do like this video and like any of our content, then please do subscribe to the channel. Drop us a like on the video, drop us a comment, let us know your thoughts, and yeah, we really appreciate it. Danny, we'll work in reverse. Normally come to predictions at the end, and we kind of butter it up before, but we'll do it in reverse. First and foremost,
Oh,
mate, tell me how you see this fight playing out. Angelo Leo, Luis Alberto Lopez, what happens?
I think Luis Alberto Lopez wins a clear but competitive unanimous decision and retains his world featherweight title.
Short and sweet,
That's what I
mate.
think
Yeah,
happens.
very, very, very good, very, very good. Short and sweet. I agree with the victor there. I think Luis Alberto Lopez is going to win this fight. We'll come on to maybe a little bit more about him in a wee minute. But yeah, I do agree with what you've said there, mate. I think I can't see any way in which he doesn't win this fight. Hopefully, it doesn't come back to bite me saying that. But yeah, I speaking to Elliot Grigg in the preview, and I kind of lean towards a late stoppage. But equally, I can't, a points decision is, probably the most likely outcome. I think I just haven't seen him live and stuff. Luis Alberto Lopez, I could potentially see late stoppage, but I don't say that with any real confidence. As we're both going with Lopez, mate, just kind of dissect it for me. Tell me a bit more about why you think this could go the full 12, being competitive enough, but a resounding victory for Lopez.
Well, the thing is, Leo had that fight with Stephen Fulton, and it was fairly wide in the scorecards. But I didn't watch the fight at the time. But in preparation for this video, I went and watched some extended highlights of it, and those scorecards, judging by what I watched and judging by what people were saying, didn't really seem to tell the full story of the fight all the right. It's one of those ones where if someone wins every round, sort of like 51%, like it can look really wide in the scorecards, but Leo was really competitive, very aggressive fighter, throws a lot of punches, doesn't seem to have much of a defense and doesn't seem to have huge power, which is where I think he could get found out against Lopez. The reason I think it could go the distance is I think for Lopez to like actually stop people, he needs that like bit of separation. If you look at like the Conlon fight, he had the range to find his shots, whereas against like Warrington, for example, Warrington obviously like comes forward and sort of takes away the distance that Lopez, because he obviously throws those big massive shots like from like wide angles and stuff. And I think the style of Leo might be able to sort of somewhat nullify, but I think Lopez's punch selection, he's got a better defense, he's got better feet. Yeah, I can't see Leo actually winning the fight, but I do think he will last the 12.
Interesting. Yeah, I think some of the reasons you've said, you can see it going the distance is it's kind of what I was gonna mention, but I'm having it in favor of the stoppage. So as you said there, um, as I mentioned, we're not sitting here saying we're experts in Angelo Leo, but I had a quick
No,
look at Fulton loss as well, just to kind of gauge what it was like. And as you said, you hit the nail on the head there. He is quite an aggressive fighter, and I don't think Lopez will have to go looking for him.
definitely
Um,
not.
which is why that's one of the reasons I'm leaning towards the stoppage. I know what you were saying there about the Conlon one, and I was there ringside that night. Like going into that fight, I actually expected Conlon to win just because I didn't know how good Lopez was after the Warrington one. It was kind of still an unknown quantity in my opinion.
Yeah,
But like I was so impressed with him that night, and he does without being a concussive puncher. I think he punches hard enough,
for
punches hard
sure.
enough to stop Leo, in my opinion. Yes, Conlon's tactics that night played into Lopez's hands, like it really, really did. But I think the aggression that Leo will show, I think he'll be confident of, landing on Luis Alberto Lopez as well. And I just think I've said it countless times every time we talk about Luis Alberto Lopez, so unorthodox. Like just the way he throws punches. Sometimes you look at him and you think, how is he landing that punch? You could see it coming, but it still lands. He's throwing them from his knees, his hips, wherever he's throwing them from. And yeah, he throws every single punch with kind of spite and venom. So I do agree with what you said, mate, but I'm leaning towards the stoppage because yeah, I don't think Leo will be able to evade those big punches, like you said. His defense is maybe not as good as a lot of the other fighters up at the top of the featherweight division. So yeah, well, it remains to be seen, mate. If it's going to be a stoppage, it will be late. I couldn't see him blasting him out there in early or mid rounds, but yeah, I think one of us will probably be right, to be honest.
GG, you hope so, lad. We would
Yeah,
hope so.
yeah, definitely, mate. And then just before we finish, like, right, we're both predicting a win here for El Venado. This
Yeah,
would be his what, third defense after winning against Warrington. This
that's
would
right. Yeah.
ended against obviously Conlon, Joey Gonzalez, Ray Abe, and then say he wins this as well. What's next then? Does it have to be unifications if you're Luis Alberto Lopez?
I think so. I think we're due some unifications from Luis Alberto Lopez. Obviously, the Espinoza fight isn't appealing. Well, there's so many good fights at featherweight. Obviously, Nick Ball would be a fantastic fight. Yeah, I think it's long overdue. We see some unifications, especially when like you factor in Nick Ball's with Frank Warren, who's always had a really good relationship with Top Rank. You've got Espinoza with Top Rank. Lamont Roach still got the other one at 126. So yeah, I think we're due some unifications. Lamont Roach is 130. Who's got the other one at 126?
Which one? You got it's Ray Vargas still.
Ray Vargas, of course. Yeah, oh, fuck him. I don't want to see him again. But any of the rest of them, I would like to see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for unifications next. I think it's about time as well. After say he wins this, he's had his defenses. Uh, if you're him, you're probably going to be screaming for those unifications as well. And as you mentioned, I think some of those on paper, such intriguing matchups, like the Nick Ball fight would be obviously from our point of view. We'd
Yeah,
love to see that from a UK perspective. And then you look at, the Espinoza one's a great fight. I just unifications because you want to find out who the best featherweight in the world is
exactly.
eventually, and it could well be Luis Alberto Lopez. Who knows? Danny, thanks very much for joining me, mate. As I said, guys, let us know your thoughts on the fight. How does this one play out on Saturday night in Albuquerque? Will Luis Alberto Lopez win? Will he win via stoppage or decision? Let us know your thoughts. And as always, Danny, thanks very much for joining me, mate.